Hello, 3D animation class. It's week 7. We are here today to talk about motion capture data. This is to sort of put a bow on our discussion about character animation and things like that. You're not going to have an assignment related to uh, MoCap data and character animation, but this is definitely something to be to know about and how to use in Blender, because you may run into it in your career. So, excuse me. So follow along if you'd like, or just come along for the ride and see what how it works. Um, Motion capture, if you've ever watched any behind the scenes for a movie that uses special effects or has CGI characters or something like that, you can probably visualize like somebody in an all black suit that has like little white balls attached to this suit, and they move around, and a computer analyzes the position of these balls, and that's essentially how it works. But it's a computer that's able to track points on a person or an object over time in 3D space. Previously this was kind of cost prohibitive. It was you needed a big like studio space with lots of sensors and things like that. But it's gotten a lot more accessible, and one big example in the last few years that I can really think of is your phones and all the like social media filters. Hold on, there's the flight path is over my house today. I gotta close my window. So yeah, if you're cool enough or cooler than me, and you're on or TikTok, I guess is the one now. I almost said Snapchat. Ugh, strike one. Um, and A lot of these social platforms have like filters for your face, that'll I don't know, like if you open your mouth, it like turns you into a ghoul, or will put a unicorn horn on your forehead, and you can move around like this, and there's like a unicorn on your head. But that is using motion capture the motion capture abilities of smartphones. So there's like sensors, well, and not necessarily sensors, but there's a camera, and there's a lot of sophisticated software that can like analyze a face and understand how it's turning and moving and things like that. And there's been that particular technology has been used quite a bit in or has moved from social media and silly videos to real creative outlets. I believe Adobe has a feature within what is it? I think it's just called Character Animator, that'll like turn on a webcam and like record yourself talking and moving, and it'll like map that onto a character. Last semester, or last year, how long have I been doing this? Um, I've someone shared with me a video of a guy by himself had created this animation, this video of a bunch of stormtroopers and the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda all doing this dance. And he also had like a behind the scenes of like, this is how I did it, and it was a pretty simple setup. He had like a motion capture suit on, um, which, side note, I believe there is a motion capture suit at the Brooklyn Park campus at Hennepin Tech if you're interested in playing with it. Anyway, and then he had this like head rig with an iPhone, and the iPhone was just like recording his face. And so he was like doing this dance, but also like singing the words to this song. And then he just had all these stormtroopers doing the dance and singing the song along with it. And it was actually kind of clever. But it's just like one dude did it with like a phone and a camera and a thing and a computer. And he did it all himself. So motion capture has become a lot more accessible. I've also seen some things where there's like some online programs that if you just take a video of someone moving or dancing or whatever, and then upload it to this service, it will like, take an hour or so, but then it will send you the motion capture data just from this video. The free ones that I've tried have actually been like pretty bad, so we won't actually do that. But I'm just gonna show you like a couple of ways you can do it. So let's just go over to Blender. So here we are. This is the sample character again from Blender that I provided to you for your parkour assignment. And just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use this again. If there's another character out there that you've found that you'd like to use, definitely try it or just watch. Also, down below, I've provided links to download a couple of just free motion capture data files that I found on the internet. You're also welcome to just like do a little internet search for free motion capture data. There's a lot out there. The kind of file format that Blender uses is called a BVH, which I don't know what it stands for, but that's what we need. So I've downloaded these BVH files. I'm here in Blender, and let's just see what happens. So I'm going to file import a motion capture BVH. And I downloaded 3. I did, there's a jump and roll, there's a yoga, and there's a cha-cha. So let's import cha-cha 001. Now it has taken a moment, but it is gigantic. But let me just press the play button here and just see what happens. Aha, someone's doing the cha-cha. That's what we want. There you go, done. No. I'll delete that. So you'll notice that it was gigantic and it seemed to be really slow. So I'm going to re-import and we'll look a little bit more carefully at the input settings. So I'll go File, Import, Motion Capture, cha-cha. And before I import, let's look here, Transform. So Scale. Obviously it was really large. So we can kind of, whoops, no, my camera's in front of it a little bit. We can try to turn this down. I don't know if like is 0.2, is that whatever. It doesn't really matter because the scale is actually easy to adjust later. But the more relevant things here are the actual like animation timing. So note it was slow. It seemed kind of slow. Probably because it was recorded at a higher frame rate. So your default scene is set to like 24 or 30 frames per second, and I think a lot of these are, and I know that these particular ones that I am providing you were recorded at 120 frames per second. So we want to update the scene frames per second. You also have the option to scale the frames per second, so that would mean like if it was recorded at 120, it would just cut out a bunch of frames so that it wouldn't be 24 frames per second. It's just sort of a personal philosophy that you don't want to like eliminate any data. You want to be non-destructive when you're doing stuff. Because maybe you end up wanting to have that higher frame rate. You can always export at a lower frame rate if you need to, so it's better to have the data in hand. So I'm going to update the scene FPS, and I'm also going to update the scene duration, because by default, you can see down here, our scene is only 160 frames long. We want it to be however long the animation is. So I'm going to also update the scene duration. And now let's import. Okay, error. Let's try that again. I wonder if the scaling had a problem. So let's try it again. Import. Motion capture. Cha-cha. Let me just keep the scale as 1. I have a feeling that was maybe part of the error. No, okay, hold on. All right, so looking a little bit more carefully at my error message, it seems like update scene FPS was having an issue, so I'm gonna untick that and see if it's okay. All right, so for whatever reason, it didn't want to update the scene FPS, but I do know for a fact that this is 120, and I can just update it myself. So in our, I forget what this is called, output properties, our frame rate is at 24, and we can just change this to 120. And so now it should play at a little bit faster clip here. Yes, indeed. Here's our cha-cha dance, and you can also see that down here it's the end frame is now 6,504. So you know it's happening. So what's if I pull out the old calculator, 6504 divided by 120 frames per second is 54 seconds. It's about a minute long dance. Great. Okay, we're dancing. We're feeling good. Okay, let's pause this. So first thing, so we need to get this. We need to get this on here, on this guy. First thing, just for like simplicity's sake, let's get the scale right. So I'm going to just select my. So also, just note what it brought in here. It brought in an armature, and with an animation that's called cha 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 cha. No, it's just there's just one cha-cha. I don't know why I said it twice. Okay, so first, I want to scale this guy down so that it's about the same size as our dude, just so that it's easier to keep track of what's happening here. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2 is, so we can see that the scale here is 0.029. In order for things to like play nicely when you're like parenting and doing animations of rigs and things like that, it's good to have things be the same scale. So like this guy is a scale of 1 and this is a scale of 0.29. It can be a problem. Scale of 1 is always better. So I'm just going to apply or Control A the scale. Okay, and it just shot off into space. Okay, you know what? Maybe that isn't what I wanted to do. Undo that. What I'm gonna try to do here is Control A. Maybe just apply all like this. Is that better? You know, I'm gonna scratch that. I'm gonna undo that. I'm just gonna assume it's gonna be fine. Because I changed the scale of the object, and so I don't believe it's going to have an effect on the scale of the bones in the rig. All right, so in Blender, we can save animations and apply them to other things. So let's open this up a little bit. You can see that there's keyframes on every frame here. And I'm going to switch to the dope sheet. And under dope sheet, I actually want action editor. So actions are saved animations. So right now, so you know, you can see all of these things here. But right now we're looking at the animation, and this animation is called 008 cha-cha 001.001. So let's even just rename this. You can click right here, select all that, and I'm going to call this dance animation. Cool. Dance animation, great. So how I've provided this rig to you, if you remember, it was let's see. So I have, you can see the rig on here, but there also is this meta rig here that is this regular armature. Let's actually use this, and I believe this is currently parented. So like if I do pose mode, yeah, that's all gonna work. Cool. So if I go to meta rig here, I could just this is a little drop down here in the action editor. I could just apply. Let's just see what happens. I'm gonna apply dance animation to this. So it's added all of these keyframes. Let's see what it does. Oh, it doesn't do anything. Bummer. That's because you need the bones to have the same names. So you can see there's a few errors in here. And you can see that, well, actually every single part of this animation has errors because the bones don't have the same names. So there's a couple of ways to do this, and you kind of just have to evaluate which is going to be the least annoying. You can either rename the bones in your existing armature to say like, yep, like match up this one with this, match up this one with this, you know. So like here, let's actually just analyze the differences. So like this one, whoops, if I go whoops, if I go pose mode here, what's this one called? Let's roll this open. This one's called left up leg. And here, this one's called meta rig, pose. This one's called thigh.l. So I could change the name of this and do it for every single one, but I'm noticing that like there's not the right amount of bones and they're not kind of positioned in the normal way that I might have done it on my own. So here's method 2. So method 1 is just to like rename the bones and try to match them up, but method 2 is going to be how I'm going to do it this time. So I'm gonna get out of here. With this selected, I'm gonna just select A down here and delete all of these keyframes. And actually, yep. So there's no animation here on this. So method 2 is gonna be I'm gonna make a copy of all of this rig and remove all the animation, and then put that rig on our character. Then stick all the animation back on because all the bones will be named the same. So here we go, meta rig. So first we need to get this old rig off of here. So I've got meta rig selected. The remove parent, oops, and of course I don't have this on. Key and stroke. Let's go. The keyboard shortcut to remove parent is Alt P for me. There we go. I wasn't in the window. Alt P. Clear parent. Great. So now we have our body and our meta rig like this. Boom. Actually, maybe it already was separate. Okay. So we've got. Let me rename this. I'm gonna call this like MoCap rig or MoCap armature. Okay, I am going to duplicate this. Shift D. There we go, and just move it wherever. So this is going to be orange guy armature. So right now we've got. If I get out of here. Oh no, did I delete all of these? Hold on. Okay, I gotta back up. I deleted I deleted all of the keyframes from the dance animation. Okay, we've got our dance animation here. Great. On this, I just want to remove the. Actually, I think I had just hit the X. Unlink action. There we go. So on this guy, we've got no movement. Okay. Got it. Okay. starting over. I'm going to remove the clear parent for this guy, and I'm just going to hide my meta rig. I've got Cha-Cha selected. This one I'm going to rename to MoCap rig, MoCap armature. Now I'm going to Shift D, duplicate him like this. So now we have two things that are doing the same dancing. Got it. Okay. Now on this one, MoCap armature, this one's going to be orange guy armature. There we go. Okay. Orange guy armature. On orange guy armature, we are going to unlink the action. Whoops. And actually, okay, sorry. I had to make sure I knew what I was talking about. Okay, so we have the two things dancing. So this one we want to clear the animation off of this. So I'm gonna remove dance animation just by unlinking this action here. So now one of them is dancing, the other one's not. And we also need to get this one back into the T pose. And if we go into pose mode and hit the A button to select all of the different pieces, we can go to pose and we want to clear transform, and we can say all like this. So now everything is back to normal. Okay. I'm also just for like my sanity, I'm gonna just GZ move all of these so that they're like right on the 0 on the Y here, so that the or 0 on the Z, so that the origin point is at the feet, which I believe is where it is for this guy too. Actually, no, it's not. So that doesn't really matter. Let me just go back like this, and I'll leave it be. Okay. Object mode. Now I'm gonna put this right on top of here, and we can even just like hide our old MoCap armature. So now we're back to this because we're just gonna redo our armature deform with this new armature. First step, I'm going to go back to my object data properties, go to my viewport display, and check in front so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'll go into edit mode. And we'll just move these around. Also, reminder here, turn on your symmetrize. Apply changes to matching bone on the opposite side. So if I move this one, it should move the other one. Okay, great. So now I'm just going to very briefly try to get this into place here. So just placing things where I think they should be. I notice that a lot of these bones aren't connected, which might be a concern, but we'll cross that bridge if it happens. In fact, like nearly none of them are. I'm assuming this is the neck. What is this one called? If I twirl this open, it helps if they've got good labeling. Yeah, neck. And then this one is called head. So I want my head to be kind of a little bigger like this. Now I will. Oh well. Okay. No, I'll get to that. Let's just finish this. Let's get my front view going. Here we go. Kind of get the hips into place. Yeah, shoulders. Put that here. This one kind of needs to go here like this. I think this is gonna be like a thumb. Whoops. Undo. Grab this one here. That goes to the thumb maybe like this. Of course, I should have been using an orthographic view so that all makes sense here. And this one kind of goes to the thumb, and this one goes down here like that. How are we feeling? It's looking pretty good. Okay. Now, let's do our armature deform. So, clicking on the mesh first, holding down the shift key, and then clicking on the armature, our orange guy armature. I'm going to do Control P, armature deform with automatic weights. Okay, so just to make sure that things are connected, I'll go into pose mode and I'll just kind of move a little bit like that. Okay, looks good. Now we're in pose mode. Let's just add on the dance animation. Let's see how it looks. Oh, you guys. He's dancing. Let's hide the armature like this. Now I just want to watch it. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And look, you didn't actually have to create any keyframes. So after having keyframed a few characters in your time in this class, maybe maybe motion capture feels a lot better. Yeah, it actually translated pretty well. I was a little nervous that it wouldn't work. Sometimes when you add motion capture data and you reposition the pieces of the armature, so like they're designed to kind of flow a certain way, and so when you're connecting it to the to your mesh, it may like be a little bit funky. So like I was nervous because I don't know if you remember. Let me just stop that because I think it's chunking my computer a little bit. But I don't know if you remember the hands. When I put the hands on, they were like oriented like this, and I was like, oh, is it gonna like make the hands put the hands into kind of an awkward position? But it actually did work pretty well. I just want to watch it one more time. Cool. It is like a little bit goofy because I think his posture is a little bit weird, but you could just go back and kind of reposition where the armature is. So actually, I believe if I go back into edit mode like this, yeah, he snaps right back into the T. But you'd have to change the vertex groups, so you would have to like reparent a little bit. Because I think what I'm noticing here is like the spine is kind of bent backwards. So like maybe if I was trying to like do this really precisely, I'd move the spine a little bit closer to the back here, and I'd move these points like a little bit farther forward, maybe like this. I don't know. Tough to say. I think it's not a humanoid here, but. And then hide the orange guy armature. Cool. And now, okay. Let's just for fun. I want to, since we have kind of been talking about lights a little bit, I wanna just like show you something fun you can do with lights. Okay, so first, let's just make it like a dance floor real quick. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Shift A. Let's add a plane. I realize my Shift C. My 3D cursor is in a goofy spot, so I'm gonna hit Shift C to reset that. Then go Shift A, add a plane, scale that up. And let's also just change the position of this person to be 0, 0, 0. So we're okay. Well, look at that. Now what has happened? Look at that. Wow. Interesting. I wonder why that happened. If I change the Z, it goes nuts. Oh, interesting. And like kind of freaky. Okay, hold on. Let me try to figure this out. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure why this is the case, but I think it's because I selected the body here rather than the armature. So I think I'm just gonna, if I do this, I can just move this back down to 0. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Now he's on dance floor. Okay, let's just like make some make some party lights or something. So there's like a couple ways to do it. Let's and I was trying to think of like a more fun way, and I realized that this is not the modeling class, so we hadn't really talked about material nodes and stuff like that. Um, so if you're in the modeling class, look forward to like randomizing material nodes and things like that. And if you're in the animation class, let's just do a simpler way of this. So let's I want to get first. I want to go to material preview like this, and I want to change my world. I'm in my world settings here. I want to change the world to just like black like this. Okay, and then I'm also going to hide the armature like that. So let's Shift A. Let's add a light in here. Let's add a spotlight, and let's GZ move it up like this. Just so it's above. Go our properties here. Change the power to like 500 or something like that. And let's just animate the color. So I'm gonna hit keyframe here like this. Now let's go to our dope sheet and see if we can find where that keyframe is. Actually, let's just go to the timeline editor. Okay, here we go. Spotlight. Here's our color. Okay, so I put a keyframe on here. So we want these keyframes that we're creating to be like constant keyframes, because I want the lights to like change in a flip like this. I don't want them to kind of slowly change color. So actually, I'm gonna move this keyframe like way over here to, whatever, frame 50. And let's change the color here. Oh, am I even on? I was on 49. Okay, let's change the color to like a pink light or something like this. And then if I right click on my keyframe here, we want to change the interpolation mode to constant. So what this is going to do is it's going to, and I should have applied. Let's do auto key like this actually. Oops. I go to frame 49. Change it to pink. Let's keyframe like that. Okay. Now if I move forward in time, I believe if I change the color again, we've got auto keying on. Hold on. I guess maybe you do want this this look, where it's slowly fading colors like that. But what I kind of wanted was constant. Here we go. Yeah, I wanted it to change in an instant. Okay. And then now let's change it again. I've got auto keying on. Let's change it to like a red light like this. So it should, yeah, there we go. Now the interpolation is constant. So it's when it hits the keyframe, it changes instantly. And let's do it a blue. Let's do like one more blue like this. Pink. Yeah, cool. And actually, just for good measure, why don't I have these like exactly 100 frames apart? So I have one on frame 1, on frame 101-ish, 200, and 300 here. Just to get them lined up. Because then we're going to add some more lights and we're going to kind of duplicate them a little bit. Okay, so now, but before we add new lights, let's set this to loop like forever. So rather than, and actually, what I should do is I should just add one more keyframe, bring in the pink back here. Bringing the pink back. Let's try it. Oh, I think I need to select all three like this. Copy, paste. Okay, here we go. So it goes pink to green to red to blue, back to pink. Okay, so to have it loop, let's go. We got to switch to the graph editor. And if you press the end, so this, just as a reference, this is what our linear changes look like in the graph editor. They're perfectly vertical, which means it changes in an instant. Press while your mouse is in your graph editor, hit the N key, and we want to go to modifiers. So here's a new one for you. We want to add, so hit the add modifier drop down, and we want to do cycles like this. And now, and that should just be it. Ah, okay, hold on. But it's only done it in it's only done it in the green. So hold on. So I think all we have to do is just also, yeah, okay. So it only did it in the green. So we're just going to add the cycles onto the red and click on the blue over here as well, and then add cycles. Here we go. So now it's just going. Ding, ding. Okay, and then if we want to add more, let's go back to our just regular timeline here. Let's Shift D and Shift Z like this, and we can move it around. Whoops. I just want to like add a couple around here like this. And then I'm just gonna move these, so I have all the keyframes selected, and if I just slide them back 100 frames, it's gonna kind of change the color like that. Yeah, cool. Let's do it again. Shift D, Shift Z, move this one like over here. And I'm gonna move this one back 100 frames again. Oh, and you know what? It's keyframing the position, which I do not want it to do. So let me turn off auto keying. So now Shift D, Shift Z, so that it's staying at the same height. And then I'm going to just move all the keyframes down one like that. Oh, my object transform does have a keyframe, so let me just delete that keyframe. There we go. G, Shift Z, move it over here. Oh, it was off by one like frame. There we go. That's why it was different, or the same color. Okay. Let's just do it again. Oh yeah, let me just delete the keyframe on that too, just for good measure. Shift D, Shift Z, move this one over here. And I think I can move it one more time, because we don't have the pink going. There we go. And then this one will just duplicate. Shift D, Shift Z, like that. Anyway, yeah, there it is. There's our dance lights. So yeah, adding that cycles, it is a little confusing because cycles is also the name of a render engine, but adding cycles. Adding the cycles on the graph editor is a good way to loop simple animations like this, like changing the lights or doing whatever. Yeah, okay, so hold on. Now I just for fun want to render this out too. So let me Shift A, add a camera. And I'm actually going to make these a little bit higher. I'm going to select all these lights, GZ, move them up a little bit like this. There we go. Okay, and let's get a camera right. And let's Control-Alt-0, put a camera here. Oh, my output is set at 600 by 600, so let's just do 1280 by 720. Here we go. To frame 0. I want to so I have the camera selected. I'm inserting location rotation, and then I want it to like kind of sort of move over here like this. Control-Alt-0, insert location rotation. And then we're gonna like push in like this. Control-Alt-0, insert location rotation. Okay, and we're just gonna do 557 frames. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my output settings, go start at frame 1, go to 557. I want to file format, change this to FFmpeg. I want to do encoding. I want MP4, video codec H.264 is good. Okay, Let me, oh, and I want to set my output to, I want you to go to fall 2022, animation class, and I'm going to call this cha-cha dance. Accept. And render animation, here we go. Okay, so I rendered this out, and something interesting happened. It like looks bad. It looks like wrong, which is interesting. So let me try to figure out what this is about. Okay, so I did a cycles render just to see if that would make a difference, and it did, but it's still like a little goofy. So here's the result. You can see that like there's like some shaking in just like the left foot, which I don't understand. So yeah, having some interesting results. I'm not entirely sure what the deal is, but I'll probably look into it a little bit more. Let me know if you end up doing this. Again, this is all just like kind of optional stuff, fun stuff here. Let me know if you have the same problem, if you end up wanting to do this too. So that's it for week 7. A little shorter this week. Something a little bit more fun to kind of wrap up character animation. Don't forget, you should have already submitted your no. I gotta look at the schedule. Real quick. Animation. Ah, yes. Okay, so your oh, okay, hold on. Your assignment 1 is due this week. Or you should have already turned it in, sorry. Assignment 2 is the face animation, and then we are going to actually talk about assignment 3 next week. So keep up the good work. Let me know if you run into any issues or problems with the face animation. But again, keep it simple. We're just learning, we're just practicing. Don't stress too much that if it doesn't look right. Anyway, adios.